Senator Boni, you may proceed to second.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to second this motion as moved by the chair of the Finance and Budget Committee, the Senator of Mandera, who fortunately for us in this Senate is actually a national party leader, and therefore, like many national party leaders, has a global view, not just on the politics of the country, but also on the need to carry all the people of Kenya along on a very sensitive issue like sharing the Commonwealth of the Republic of Kenya. I therefore want to congratulate him for moving the motion, and Mr. Speaker, together with my colleagues in the committee, I would like to plead with this Senate that it was without prejudice that we arrived at the current formula. And I would be very grateful if you joined us in allowing this formula to share revenue in the Republic for the next 5 years or so. But in so saying, Mr. Speaker, it doesn't mean, colleagues, that we are emotionally attached to this formula. No, not in any way. In fact, if I was to be emotionally attached to this formula, I would be attached to the formula that allows Kakamega to capitalize on its population size. That way, quickly we get more money than most of the counties because Nairobi, Kakamega, Kiambu, and Nakuru are the largest counties population-wise. Mr. Speaker, I was happy at attempt 1, Kamukunji 1, Kamukunji 2 this morning, to hear members speak emotively. That is the way it should be. We were not brought here to fight for any position that does not favor the counties that voted us into this Senate. So when you see, for example, the Senator of Nyamira, who happens to be my Mokoyone, speak with the passion he did, it is because, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, that is loud consultation.
Senator for Kakamega, you've chosen English. Stick to English, please. The other alternative is Kiswahili, and I don't think the word you've just uttered is either Kiswahili or English.
Mr. Speaker, I agree with you fully. But somewhere I read and somewhere I heard that the Speaker does not see, the Speaker does not hear, he's only moved by plenary. Mr. Speaker, I submit your guidance. Mr. Speaker, with a light touch.
Senator for Kakamega, don't invite the chair in that direction. Proceed to conclude.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, all I was saying is that I wanted to speak to his heart. Mukoyone in Kisi language, in the Gusi language, means my brother-in-law, which is a fact. So I wanted to appeal to him so that he comes closer to the position of the committee. I didn't want to insult the House in any way. And I know my wife, where she is now, hearing these things. Today, dinner is going to be very nice. The kissy one.
Now, honorable senators.
I have not finished.
While you've taken your seat, I presume you're done. I will now proceed to...
Mr. Speaker, I had not. With
So
due
then
respect.
why were you taking your seat?
Because I saw you rising. I can never remain on my feet when the Speaker of the Senate is on his feet. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I therefore want to speak to the reasons why we cannot disagree. I mean, why we can easily disagree. The first one is that the people of Nairobi, Nakuru, Kiambu, and Kakamega can paralyze this debate by saying population factor should be enhanced. Let them give in, we lose something. The people of Marsabit, sorry, not people, the senators of Marsabit, Mr. Speaker, Mandera, Turkana, Wajir, Garissa, because of the vast, and Isiolo, the vast nature of their constituencies, they can very easily frustrate this debate by saying land mass, water mass. Mr. Speaker, the issue of poverty, we know the counties with high poverty indices, including Mandera, Wajir, Turkana, Kilifi, Kwale, and so on, they can frustrate this debate by, Mr. Speaker, insisting that we emphasize the factor on poverty. I appeal to them, let's give and take. Finally, Mr. Speaker, I want to speak to our professionals at the Commission of Revenue Allocation, who had proposed that in this formula, we introduce a new factor called income distance. I would like them to bear with the committee that we understood them very well and tried to see how best we can carry the country on something which 99% of Kenyans were hearing for the first time in their lives, despite their good education. We want to persuade them that the nearest we can bring to income distance is that it was trying to factor in the gross county product, something that is not backed by proper data in the country as we speak today, and therefore, going forward, maybe income distance will be a factor in sharing formula in this country. And what's more, it was being best, Mr. Speaker, on Nairobi, and yet Nairobi is one of the counties sharing with the other counties. If, for example, the way I was looking at it, our experts from CRA, this formula was being applied in the United States of America, then it would have been easier for somebody from Pennsylvania, knowing that it was being based on Washington, D.C., to understand, because in the United States of America, Washington, D.C. is not regarded as at the same level like the other states. Mr. Speaker, having said this, I want, with due respect, all politics is local, to speak my locality. When devolution came, there are a few of us, and I'm glad that Speaker was there, Senator Mungatana was there, Oburu Dinga was there, and Mr. Speaker, that is as many as we were that time. There are those of us who believed, and we ended up being in the minority, that what we needed was to create economically viable units. So much so that at that time we were talking about a maximum of 14 counties. Well, the emotions of we don't want our community to be in the same county with this community, or we want our community to have its own county, or we want our community to have so many counties, then carried the day. But today, in the third cycle of devolution, we are now realizing that bigger economic blocks present better viabilities for our counties than the smaller ones. This morning, the Senator of Vihiga while you are away. I remembered how out of the blues, Vihiga was hived out of Kakamega. We never told them. The people of Idaho, the people of Isuka were doing very well when they were with the Terikis, the Banyores, and the Maragolis of Vihiga. The people of Cabras were doing very well when we were like that. In fact, the intermarriages that have been taking place between our houses, sometimes our children will start thinking that the people of Vihiga are different from the people of Kakamega. It's not true. So, I feel very uncomfortable that Kakamega can get so many billions of shillings, and Vihiga, where my own sisters and brothers are, they get almost nothing to do meaningful flagship projects. So that in 10 years, when you go to the bigger brother in Kakamega, we have realized a stadium, multi-billion, a teaching and referral hospital, multi-billion, hundreds of kilometers of tarmac roads worth hundreds of millions of shillings, Mr. Speaker. And yet in Vihiga, they can hardly do anything. So, this provoked us, Mr. Speaker, to agree with the Kamkunji, which proposed that despite having a basic allocation of 387.5 billion shillings to make sure that no county loses, we should bring in another factor which the Parliamentary Budgets Office, for lack of a better terminology, called it the affirmative action allocation. This affirmative allocation is meant to say the following, members of the public, that 11 counties in this country, they get below 5 billion, which they spend literally on recurrent expenditure. There isn't much development that you can talk about, and this is what I was referring to my neighbor Vihiga. So we've said, let us have an affirmative action that will attract some more funds, but not lead to the rest of the counties losing, so that whereas all of us are winning, but the 11 counties to be brought up so that they have slightly more money for development. These counties, Mr. Speaker, Nyamira, Samburu, Taita Taveta, Tharaka Nithi, Vihiga County, Elgeyo Marakwet, Embu, Isiolo, Kirinyaga, Laikipia, and Lam. This is what we decided. And now, this was after drawing from the wisdom of Embu, of the two Kamkunjis. So this is enough reason for us to say, Senator Osoti, that the consultation that you want to look for has sufficiently been addressed. Nothing can be perfect. I remember the senator of Kitui. He persuaded me in the first Kamkunji. He brought the analogy of pickups carrying vaccines to go from the center to some area in North Hall. I was convinced. And this is the purpose of debate. As the Senator of Nairobi has said, we listen to each other so that we can convince each other for the good of the country. Mr. Speaker, with those many remarks, before I conclude, allow me to congratulate the football fans of Gor Mahia FC of Homa Bay. When we went to play yesterday against Gor Mahia, we were worried that there was going to be the misbehavior I saw between the fans in Kisii of Sabana and Gor Mahia. It was very shameful to see Kenyan fans injuring each other at Gusii Stadium just because Shabana was fighting, was playing against Gor Mahia. Yesterday, most of my young people are telling me, should we go? I told them, go. I have talked to Oburu. I've talked to Kajuang. I've talked to Beatrice Oyomo. And they have told me that for the first time, Luos will not make noise. They will just be cheering. we know you as our noisy neighbors, and we don't complain. But yesterday, I congratulate with those many marks, Mr. Speaker. I second.
Honorable Senators, I'll now proceed to propose the question that the Senate notes the report of the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on the fourth basis for the allocating of the share of national revenue among the counties laid on the table of the Senate on Thursday, 17